Five animals that have only been seen once. Yo, it's Chio2. Let's get into this.
What if you discovered a species for the very first time and then it just vanished forever, never to be seen again? Creatures
The worst part would be if, like, you seen it clearly, but your whole equipment, whatever you had, didn't work. You don't know how to draw. So whatever you have is based on nothing. And what does that sound like? Conspiracy. I'm joking. I'm joking. But I wonder how many
so
situations have
rare,
happened
the
like that.
only proof they
Oh my
exist is a
gosh. What is
single
that?
specimen. From single sightings in remote jungles to 16-foot whales. Today, we're diving into 5 more animals
This
that
is
have only
part
been
two?
seen once.
Oh yeah, I need to see part
Starting with
one.
the spade-toothed whale. A full-sized whale, something that grows to around 16 or 17 feet long, and
Looks
no
like a
one has
dolphin.
ever seen one alive. Everything we know about this animal comes from individuals that have washed up dead on
There's no way. So we have not documented one that's alive. This has to be like a deep sea animal then, right?
beaches. And get this, there have only been about 7 confirmed specimens ever found to date. And these specimens have mostly been turning up around New Zealand and one all the way over in Chile. The very first record goes all the way back to 1872, when someone found a lower jaw on a remote island. And even then, scientists didn't realize what they had, since they thought it belonged to a completely different species of whale. Then, over the course of a few years, more and more bones started washing up on the beaches around New Zealand, and it wasn't until scientists actually
Isn't New Zealand close to Australia, bro? Those two, mainly Australia. Whatever that country, continent has going on, they need to be investigated. Fuck all these data centers. Let's go to Australia and see what's going down. I'm talking about from the ocean all the way throughout the land. That place cannot be real. I remember the conspiracy of that one guy who who didn't believe Australia was a real place, and I don't blame him. I know Australia is a real place, but I will still hold that statement like Australia is not a real place, even though I know it's a real place.
ran DNA tests that they realized all of these remains belonged to the same species, a whale that no one had ever seen in the flesh. And then, in
Wow.
2010, something crazy happened. When a mother and calf washed up dead on a beach in New Zealand, it was only then when DNA testing came back and confirmed those were spade-toothed whales. Scientists literally had the animal and didn't even know what it was.
What were they doing with it then? Like they had the body. What were they? You know what? What were they doing? What were
Now,
they
in terms
doing
of
with it?
what the cetacean actually looks like, it's got that classic beaked whale shape that's built for deep diving. But the weirdest part are the teeth. The males have these huge spade-shaped teeth that stick out from the lower jaw, hence its namesake, and they can get to around 9 inches long.
In
Scientists believe
inches.
that these whales use these teeth for fighting other males down in the depths, which
Oh
is just
my gosh.
crazy to
So do you see the only reason why they end up dead is because they lost the fight, essentially? I'm assuming, by the way, I'm probably wrong because a mother and a calf did die, but
think
that's
about.
crazy.
And speaking of deep, that's probably the reason we've never seen one
Oh
alive.
yeah, I was
Whales
right.
are some of the best divers on the planet. They can stay underwater for hours and dive to depths of nearly 10,000 feet, which is almost like 2 miles down in complete pitch black darkness. So,
Damn.
if the species spends most of its life down there, well, then it makes perfect sense why we've never seen one alive.
Yes, I that was my theory, and I would like to be credited with creating that theory. I didn't even watch the video before. I really made it up right there on the spot, and yeah, I was right.
The most recent specimen, found just 2 years ago, was the first time scientists could properly study a fresh, intact specimen. And even then, they were still figuring things out. When they dissected it, the scientists found things like 9 separate stomachs with squid beaks in
Nine separate nine. What is going on in the deep ocean? I wonder how big of a fish does it eat? Because it would have to be like it could be like be able to get full on a small amount, right? Like, if you look at a gorilla, like they don't eat meat, but they get full based on plant and all of that.
inside, which all pointed to the whale being a deep sea hunter. But still, they were still left with no real answers about how this whale actually lives. And that's what makes this so crazy. We're not talking about some tiny fish or insect. This is a massive whale, and we still know
Seven
almost
foot
nothing
long.
about it. So, with so little sightings, the question is it
17.
still out there? Well, 100%. Since they are such cryptic deep water animals living so deep, and the fact that they're quite intelligent animals, I'm fairly certain that somewhere in the deep South Pacific, there's probably a whole population of these things just living their lives completely unnoticed. And until the day
Facts.
we finally see one alive, the spade-toothed whale remains a whale.
So can we not go that deep as like how far does a submarine go if these things have not been properly investigated? Like how far does a submarine go? I've never actually questioned how far a submarine goes. I've always thought, oh, it can go to the bottom and come back up.
We've only ever seen
Or
after
maybe
the
lack of
submarine's death.
funding.
Next up, a shark that looks more like a stingray and might be one of the rarest sharks on Earth. Meet the Philippines angel shark. Now, angel sharks are already some of the most alien sharks in the world. They've got these flattened pancake-like bodies with massive wing-like pectoral fins that make
I've never
them look
heard of
more
this
like
one.
rays than sharks. They hunt
And
by
I watch
sitting
Nature
still rather
Geographic,
than
so I'm
endlessly
not paying
moving
attention.
and
That means,
suction prey into their huge mouths with razor.
oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that. He was hold. He was hold. They're cheating. They're cheating, bro. Look at he stood no chance. That fish stood no chance. Look how big this mouth is, bro. Look how big that mouth is. No chance, bro. Cheating, bro.
To their huge mouths with razor sharp teeth. It's this
Oh my
sitting and hiding
gosh.
in the sand that makes this rare ambush
And it's
predator
fast
so hard
too.
to find. I can
Mm-mm.
tell you from experience of having dove with them in Japan and in California. Witnessing their
Hold on. He actually does this shit. I thought he was just telling us, he actually does this. Hey, shout out to bro. Shout out to bro. Holy. Not only does he talk the talk, but
behavior, I'll tell
he
you,
walks the
they
walk.
are so fascinating. They're super chill, perfectly camouflaged, and then suddenly lightning fast when they strike. Ask me how I know, because our friend Andy Murch actually got bitten by a clouded angel shark when we were there. But while these species may be relatively abundant,
He's pissed off. Like, what? He was just there waiting for his food. Like, God damn, bro. Doesn't even. I wonder if he knows even the concept of human. It's like all these black ass things. Just oh my gosh, that sounds crazy. I'm black. You know what I'm saying? Just to put it out there. But yeah, nah, he was just waiting for
the
his food.
Philippines angel shark is only known from a single specimen, and this was a small, immature female measuring
One specimen. Through all these years, one. They have one.
just over a foot long. It had this greenish brown body covered in darker spots, outlined in pale
Looks
edges,
like a leopard.
with subtle black markings near its dorsal fins. For an angel shark, this is pretty standard camouflage that's designed to help it completely disappear on the sea floor. This lone individual was discovered in 1995 on the 23rd of September during a deep sea trawl off the coast of Luzon in the Philippines at depths of over 1,200 feet. That's way down on the outer continental shelf in a dark, cold environment that we barely ever explore. At first glance, scientists actually thought it was just another similar looking species, the Taiwan angel shark. But years
Damn, bro. I have never heard of any of these things before. And again, I would like to state I watch I mean, I guess I don't pay attention to the sea life more. I'm more of like I'm just watching whatever the things I can potentially run into. I'm gonna keep it a bug. I'm gonna be honest. I only want ask me about snakes. I could tell you about snakes. I could tell you how to identify a poisonous one, a venomous one, whatever you need to know, because that's a reality that I could run into, right? All this shit. What is my black ass doing? What are 1,200 feet below in the ocean? What am I doing there?
closer look at its features, such as the spacing of its spiracles, the shape of its fins, and a few subtle differences, they realized it was a completely new species of angel shark, officially described for the first time in 2011. But sadly, since then, it's been very, very quiet. There hasn't
Damn.
been a second specimen found, and no one has ever seen it. But does the fact that it hasn't been seen for so long mean it's extinct? Not really.
No.
Notoriously, deep sea species like this are very hard to study. And to make things worse, Philippines angel sharks live in the ocean thousands of feet down where very few surveys actually take.
Let's see. Most surveys take place between uh wow. Wow, look at this, bro. I thought they went deeper. They only go this far? Most surveys take place here. This is damn near, I mean, looking at this is damn near surface level, bro. Then the other one, fewer, have actually gone. Bro, look at all. Wow. Why can't they go deeper? Is it funding? Is it, equipment can't? Look at this side, bro. 1200. No wonder we haven't figured out what's going on with that whale. It's at 10,000, and when most surveys don't reach 1,000. Most surveys don't even reach 1,000. That's crazy.
Place. And angel sharks by nature are masters of camouflage. And like we said before, they literally bury themselves in the sea floor.
Yeah, it's just like if we didn't know, this would just be like, oh, that's a weird rock, or that's a weird seabed, and you just move on.
Leaving just their eyes exposed. So even if they are down there, we could be easily missing them. But at the same time, deep sea trawling and longlining is a real concern, since these sharks live right in the zones where fishing nets drag across the sea floor, and if a population was already small to begin with, it wouldn't take much to wipe it out before we even realized it was there. If we were ever going to find the shark again, it would probably be through deep sea surveys using ROVs or BRUVs, or even another accidental troll catch. But until then, the Philippines angel shark remains one of the most mysterious creatures ever caught, a shark seen once and never again. Next up, a highly venomous snake that was
yeah, here we go. That's my line where it's something we can actually run into.
discovered completely by accident and has only ever been seen once.
Once again, oh my
This
gosh. The other one, the reason why I didn't have such a like a reaction to the first one because they had multiple specimens of it. These ones are being seen. There's no way.
the
Once,
rarest pit viper
one
on the
time.
planet, hidden deep in the forests of northeast India. Meet the Arunachal pit viper. Now,
Oh
at
my
first glance,
gosh, that
this
shit
snake
looks like one of those Pokemon things. I don't know about Pokemon, but I know there is a snake-looking thing there.
might not look like anything too crazy, since if you look at its top, it's got
It looks like lava. Does it not look like lava? That shit looks like lava.
this brownish, dull coloration that blends perfectly into leaf litter on the
Holy
forest
aura.
floor.
I
And
hate
along
snakes
its
though.
sides and belly, it's got some glossy, striking reddish-orange color. It's such a weird contrast, and if you ask me, being a herpetologist, it's a pretty sick-looking snake. It gets up to around 26 inches long, and like most pit vipers, this species is also highly venomous, having
Of course. Of course. Why couldn't you be why couldn't you have some healing property? You know what I'm saying? Why couldn't be a snake out there created where like if it bites you, some ailment can be healed from it? You know what I'm saying? Why is snake bad? Why every snake venomous bad?
a potent hemotoxic venom that causes severe pain, bleeding,
Oh
and
my
tissue damage.
gosh.
The story of its discovery is just as fascinating. Back in the early 2000s, during a biodiversity survey in Arunachal Pradesh, a researcher named Rohan Pandit and a local guide from the Bungan tribe were hiking through a steep forest near a village when all of a
I respectfully, I would never any if you ever see me in a forest in Australia and India and all those countries, right? Assume I have lost my mind. That's what I would say. If you ever see Chiotu in the forest in Australia, India, all these countries where like basically any damn thing could kill you, assume I have lost my mind. I don't know what else. If you see me scuba diving beyond so surface level, like, oh, I see a fish, that's nice and all that. Assume either I'm super rich or I have lost my mind. There's no in between. There is
All
no
of a
in
sudden,
between.
they spotted this brown snake sitting in the leaf litter. At first, they thought it was just another viper, but when they looked at it properly, it didn't quite match anything they'd ever seen before. So, like any sane
As a well studied Nature Geographic student, I can confirm I have never seen this as well. And my knowledge on snakes, visual wise, I want to state that I have never seen this before.
biologist would, they collected it, brought it back, and took a proper look. And that's when they realized that it was something truly different. After detailed analysis, measuring its scales, studying its anatomy, and even running genetic tests, lo and behold, the scientists confirmed that this was an entirely new species of pit
Oh my
viper.
gosh,
And
bro.
here's the craziest part.
Shit looks
This was the
demonic.
first new pit viper species discovered from India in over 70 years. That's just insane. But since that one sighting, which is almost 10 years ago now, it still remains the only one scientists have ever found. We don't know how
Wow.
many of these snakes exist, we don't fully understand its behavior, and we don't even know if they're ground dwelling. But I guess you could say that
Did you hear that? We don't know if they're ground dwelling. Meaning you walk in there thinking things are, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm just have to be careful where I step. No, snakes be in trees, bro. And my mind was rocked when I was young when I seen a snake swim. That right there, I was like, oh my gosh, there's no hiding. There is no hiding.
the good news is that the forest where it was found is still relatively intact. It's incredibly steep, hard to access, and only lightly disturbed by humans, which means there's a very real chance that more of these
Still
snakes
high
are out there,
population.
but just that no one is crazy enough to go there and look for one.
Yes, yes. You see, people of sane mind. If you're an average person, you don't need to be out there, bro. Don't need to be out there to meditate or to anything. Go outside and meditate in your garden, bro. Don't go there, bro.
And
Don't.
honestly, that's probably the reason we haven't seen it again. Pit vipers are masters of staying hidden, and that's exactly like the copperheads, cottonmouths, and rattlesnakes
Oh
that
my
we have
gosh.
in the US. You could literally
One
walk past one.
snake
Copperheads,
that put fear in
cottonmouths,
my
and
heart was
rattlesnakes.
this. It was the first time I ever heard a snake make a noise. When I was watching this, I was like, that the sound was etched into my brain. It was etched to my brain. That shit scared me that much was when I was watching the show.
We have in the US. You could literally walk past one and never even realize it was there. If we're ever going to find the species again, it'll come down to more surveys in these remote forests, slowly flipping leaf litter, scanning the ground, maybe even
Hell
working with
nah,
local
bro.
communities who know the land better
I'm not
than
putting my
anyone.
hand
But
down
until
there.
then, the Arunachal pit viper remains one of the most mysterious snakes in the entire world, seen once and then gone. Next up, a tiny, bizarre-looking seahorse that no one has ever seen alive in
A
the wild,
seahorse?
and might be one of the strangest seahorses that's ever been discovered, somewhere off the deep coast of Australia. Meet the bullneck seahorse.
Australia? What did I say?
Now, seahorses are already pretty weird looking.
The what?
Coast of Australia. Meet the bullneck seahorse. Now, seahorses are already pretty weird looking, but this one takes it to another level. Fully grown, they're only about 2 inches long, but what makes this one stand out is its shape. It's got this unusually wide, thick neck.
Shit looks like Lucky. Y'all know. Y'all know Lucky, bro. This dead ass looks like. Yo, my
short,
fault,
stubby
Luck.
face
My
and a
fault,
body
bro.
that looks quite off compared to other seahorses. In fact, scientists even named it Minotaur because of that oversized head compared to its tiny body. It's believed to have a yellow-orange coloration, which scientists think help it to blend into deep-sea coral or sandy seabeds. And like
It's
other
tough.
seahorses, it likely uses its tail to wrap around things like corals or seaweed, anchoring itself in place as currents pass by. But here's the thing, that's all just educated guesses, because no one has ever actually seen one in its natural habitat. The only known specimens were collected off the coast of Eden, New South Wales, Australia, by deep-sea trawling nets. They were officially described in 1997, and since those few individuals were brought up, nothing. Now, the running theory among scientists is that this seahorse lives over 3,200 feet deep, and maybe even
Oh yeah,
that's
we've never been there. We've never been there because we only get up to 1,000. I wonder what generally is stopping us from going deeper. I'm actually gonna look it up. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna look it
well
up.
beyond
Why?
where most divers go. And when you combine that with the fact that this thing is absolutely tiny, it's easy to see how it could just completely slip under the radar. However, scientists fear that deep sea trawling has heavily impacted parts of the ocean floor in that region. And if this species depends on specific habitat like coral beds or untouched seabeds, then those areas could have easily been damaged before we even knew the seahorse existed. What's really interesting,
Mm,
though, is that local
they could have just said, and they could have just wrote it off and said like, "Oh yeah, it's just a normal seahorse," because they don't know. They don't know. Crazy.
fishing communities in Australia actually remember this animal. Some fishermen claim they saw it decades ago, describing that same thick neck and short snout. And that's kind of crazy because there's barely anything about the species in scientific literature, yet people still recognize it. So, how would we even find it again? Well, it's not going to be easy. You'd need to use things like ROVs, BRUVs, maybe even eDNA testing, but the hopeful part is that other deep sea species and even seahorse relatives have had similar stories. The ruby sea dragon, for example, went unseen for years until
This shit does not even look real. It looks like a gummy worm that's just like melted in different parts.
scientists actually went looking for it properly, and then suddenly they found it. So maybe
Yo, if I showed this to somebody and I didn't say anything, would y'all think this was underwater?
just maybe the bullneck seahorse is still out there. Until
We
then,
just need to
this
we just
little
need to look
tiny
for it.
seahorse remains as a species that's only ever been pulled up by trawlers but never seen in the wild. Guys, you know that I love rare and extinct animals. That's why I do videos like this, but I
Yep.
also love just generally having adventures. And now that I'm a dad with 2 young boys,
Who is the
I
sponsor?
like sharing those adventures with my family. Now, I don't want to
Patreon
plaster my kids all over the internet, which is
is
why I've started an
it?
amazing Patreon
Oh,
where some of the most
Patreon.
incredible
Okay.
adventures that my family
Hey,
and I
if
go on
y'all
together
enjoy his
are available.
videos,
Check out the Patreon.
make sure you
It's
join that
wholesome
Patreon,
family
man.
viewing, very educational, highly about family life
Yep.
on the road. I take my family to Africa.
Oh,
to
they seen the
Central America,
rhino?
to
No,
South
I've
America,
never
to
seen.
Asia.
I've never seen a rhino, but should I say this? I live next to lions. Believe it or not, I do live next to lions.
All kinds of incredible places on amazing adventures and
Where
expeditions that
is the
never
most
make it here on
important part?
YouTube. So go and check out the
In a
Patreon right
zoo
now. Let's talk about our next super rare
and
animal. Now, this next animal might be one
conservation
of the most
thing, you never know.
mysterious monitor lizards on the planet. Meet Zug's monitor. This is a species of monitor lizard that's found on the island of Halmahera in Indonesia, in a place that's already been known for hiding some seriously weird and unique reptiles. And like most monitor lizards, you'd probably be expecting the species to be quite active and maybe even seen by locals from time to time. But this one is different. Zug's monitor is only known from a single specimen, which was a juvenile that was found all the way back in 1980. And get this, the specimen wasn't
1980.
even recognized or identified for that fact. It
Yeah,
actually
because it
sat
looked
in
like a
museum
normal
for
one.
many years until scientists later realized that this wasn't anything they'd ever seen before. And when you look at it, it's actually pretty cool looking. The only known individual measured 14.2 inches long. But since that one specimen was collected over 40 years ago, there's been basically nothing. No confirmed sightings in the wild, no photos, and scientists still don't know what it eats, how it lives, or even where exactly it spends most of its time. But the most
Damn.
interesting thing is that there has been a couple of reports coming in from locals claiming that they've seen something similar in different parts of the island. But these reports have never been verified. And that's actually crazy when you think about it. This is a monitor lizard, an active lizard on an island where they've potentially been collected not just for science, but for the pet trade. And for them
Oh,
to
what is
completely
that?
disappear like this, it's honestly kind of hard to even wrap your head around. But then again, the island of Halmahera is covered in dense tropical rainforest that's full of steep terrain, remote valleys, and areas that are
Do you
still
see the lack of
barely
houses?
forest
Look at
that's
this.
full of
Look at
steep
this
terrain.
zoom. Look at the lack of houses. There's something right here to all those who can't see. Something right here. And that's that. Possibly something here, but look at this. Wait, let me do this rather. Look at the distance. Here is something flat. Here I believe might be something. Look at all this distance. Like nothing. Nothing that way. Nothing this way. possibly something here, something there. Obviously, that is far from the trees, that side. This is how what's that word? You can't navigate it properly. That's how dense it is. Like you can't just go anywhere you want to. Possibly something could be not too sure over there. But just look at all that empty space. It's just empty space, empty space, empty space, entirely empty right here.
in
That's just how
remote
dense it
galaxies,
is.
areas that are still barely explored. And that's what makes this one so interesting. Because
It's
unlike the
beautiful
animals
though.
we've talked about before,
Very
this isn't a
beautiful.
place that's been heavily developed or completely overrun by humans. So all the usual reasons we see animals disappear don't really apply here. And because of that, it actually makes it a lot harder to believe that this animal just simply went extinct. But over the years, scientists have actually discovered multiple new monitor lizard species in this region alone. So the idea that something like this could still be hiding out there is
I wonder what considers like what's the word what's the criteria needed for it to be considered new? It looks like it's just the color that's changing, no? It looks like it's just the color that's changing. But oh my gosh, this is holy shit. Does these eyes not look human? Those eyes look human as fuck. But yeah, it does look, it looks like it's just colors changing to us, to the uneducated eye, right? I wonder what's the criteria needed for it to be, oh, okay, this is a new species. Is it the size? Is it probably they look at the claws, the teeth, what else? I wonder what else, because I think this, I don't know what this hole is called, but I think that remains the same. Not too
still
sure
not
though.
that far fetched. If we're ever going to find Zug's monitor again, which I think is very realistic, it would take proper field surveys where you're working with local communities and tribes, not just setting up trail cameras, but trekking and expeditioning through the jungle to look for signs of this monitor before potentially catching one at night or noosing it. But until that day comes where the expedition goes out, Zug's monitor remains one of the strangest reptile mysteries out there, only seen once and never again. Hey, I hope you guys want to watch more than this video once and never again. So if you do,
Yeah. I need to see part one. Thank you for watching. It's Chio too. Later.